I'm going to take you through the 4.1 guided practice. This is for anyone that's been absent or you need a refresher on what we're doing in this 4.1 section. So I'm going to do the odds. You need to make sure you check your answers and do the evens. Okay? So in 4.1, we're writing equations in slope-intercept form, which is pretty easy since, especially the first couple, where I clearly tell you what the slope is. I clearly tell you what the y-intercept is. So we're just going to write our equations in y equals mx plus b form, okay, where m is our slope. So in this case, I put a 5/4 in front of the x, and I know my y-intercept is a -4. Okay, that's how easy it is when they clearly tell you what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. So number 3 is just as easy. This time they tell us the slope is -1/3 and the y-intercept is a +3. Okay, so never get those wrong. It needs to be super easy for everybody. Okay, now a little bit harder, but not too hard, is where they give us a visual. They give us the graph. So you should be able to look at the line and know exactly what is crossing the y-axis. In this case, it's crossing at -2. Okay, so that is the b value. That's your y-intercept. So now I need to calculate the slope. I can tell that this is going downhill, so my slope is going to be negative. And I just need to have two nice dots. So I'm going to have this dot right here. And I just need to do rise over run. Okay, I count the blocks. I know if I start here, I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3 blocks and over 1, which is a slope of -3. Okay, so the second you know the slope and the y-intercept, you have your equation. Y equals -3x minus 2. Okay, so again, don't overcomplicate this. When you try the evens, just realize this one's going to be going uphill. This one's a positive slope, just like number 7. So number 7, we're down here. We cross at -5, so we can label the y-intercept as a -5, and it looks like, here's another nice dot, I'm just going to have a slope of up 1 over 2. Okay, so a slope of up 1 over 2 is a half, and I don't forget to write your equation. So once you know the slope and the y-intercept, our job is to write the equation. Okay, so y equals 1/2 x minus 5. Okay, so it doesn't get much easier than that. For the next page, we have to actually calculate. So instead of a visual, now for the first, since it's just 4/1, one of the points is going to be our clue to the y-intercept. Okay, and then later on we'll actually have to solve for the y-intercept. But here, when x is 0 and you have y's a value, that is your y-intercept. So I know b is a -5. Okay, so now for slope, so if I give you 2 points, you're familiar with this slope formula where you subtract the y's over the corresponding x values. Okay, so when you calculate the slope, it doesn't matter which y value you start with. Okay, the slope doesn't change if I switch these points around, but I'm going to write -5 minus -2. Okay, since I started with this y value, I must start with the corresponding x value of 0, and I must say 0 minus this x value. So up top we get a -3. So again, if you have trouble calculating, use a calculator. And then we're going to have a -1 for a positive slope of 3. Okay, so be careful of your signs. Y equals 3x minus 5 is that rule. Okay, so again, if you wanted to, you could get a visual. You could plot those points and realize how your line is going up at a rate of up 3 over 1. Okay. Okay, for number 11, right here is, so just be careful, your y-intercept occurs when x is 0. Okay, so the point where x is 0, the y value is your y-intercept. Okay, so we still need to calculate the slope. So again, it doesn't matter which y value. So I'm going to put 2 minus 0, and then we're going to have 0, because again, it's very important. Whatever y value you start with, then you must start with that corresponding x value underneath. So I must say 0 minus 2. When you calculate this, you have a positive 2 up top, a negative 2 on the bottom, for an overall slope of negative 1. So y equals negative 1, or simply negative x. If you want to put a 1 there, you can, but then plus 2. Okay? Again, everybody should be able to, understand what we're doing. Okay, so then the last two questions that we're going to go over, just the same exact as questions 9 and 11, but just in a different format, just with function notation. So if you need to, rewrite this. So this is telling you input is 0, you get an output of -4. So that's simply 0, -4. And then here we input a 3, we get an outcome of 8. So my y-intercept is a -4 because 0, my input, produces an output of -4. That's where the line would be crossing the y-axis, but I have to calculate the slope. Okay, so we're going to take 8 minus a -4, and then 3 minus 0. So when you calculate the top, you're going to get a positive 12. You'll get a 3 in the bottom for an overall slope of 4, or 4 over 1. But then write your equation. Y equals 4x minus 4. There's your rule. Okay? And then finally, number 15, my y-intercept is going to be this 3. So b equals 3. And then my other point is -6 is an input. Outcome is a 3. Okay, so calculate the slope. I subtract my y values, and you're going to see that this is a special case. We're going to have a slope of 0. Okay, so as soon as I see, notice both outcomes are the same, so that has to be a flat line, but I'll show the rest of the work. -6 minus 0, anything over 0 is a 0. So y equals 0x and then plus 3, or simply y equals 3. Okay, or you could say f of x equals 3. Same thing. So just again, just different notation. Same thing up here. I could write f of x equals 4x minus 4. So again, just getting used to that function notation. Okay, so that only took less than 8 minutes to do the odds. Make sure you do the evens and then check your answers. Okay, that's how we practice. And then there's just one more paper that you have to do in our 4-1 packet. Okay, that should give you enough practice to master this concept. Take care.